Ed, do you know about catfish?
Yeah, that's where you go like in a river or something. You stick your arm in, and then the catfish gets on your arm, and you like catch it and stuff like that.
No, catfish dating. We got some great,
Oh,
yeah, we got some great stories coming up. Stay tuned.
you gotta hear this.
Welcome to the Kiss the Frog Show.
All right, we got some good stories today, but before we get into it, we want to say this is for
Entertainment purposes only.
and do your own research. This is just helpful in entertainment. It's entertaining. We're basing on some real life stories, and some of it could be a little speculation, but anyhow, it's all to be in fun and to also provide some helpful information. And today we are going to be talking about they were catfished, and we have some good stories. Sharak, are you ready?
Yes,
For
let's
your
do
story,
it.
all right.
Interesting.
Yeah, oh my goodness. We're gonna get into it right now. So, our first story is called the 10-year-old photos, or the 10-year-old photos. So you can imagine what this is gonna be about. So Chris thought he had hit the dating app jackpot. He matched with Ashley, whose profile pictures looked like they were taken by a professional photographer, even golden hour on the beach somewhere expensive. So I guess they look pretty good. Perfect smile, perfect skin. Every photo said, "I drink green juice and my life is together." They chatted for 2 weeks. Wow, that's a long time. The vibes were great. She laughed at his jokes, sent him heart emojis, and even called him handsome, which immediately boosted his confidence by 47%. That's interesting, 47%. They agreed to meet at a cozy coffee shop on a Saturday morning. Chris arrived early and sat near the window, nervously checking the door every time it opened. A few women walked in, but none of them looked like Ashley. Then a woman walked in wearing oversized sunglasses, a scarf, and a baseball cap, pulled low, indoors for no reason. She scanned the room, then walked directly toward him. "Chris?" He stood up slowly, like a man waking from a confusing dream. "Yes?" She removed her sunglasses. This woman looked like Ashley if Ashley had been living completely different from the past decade. The smile was similar, the face structure was there, but everything else screamed time travel malfunction. Chris' brain short-circuited. Ashley sat down immediately and said, "Wow, you look just like your pictures." Chris nodded because lying felt illegal in that moment. They ordered coffee. Chris tried to stay polite, but his eyes kept darting back to her dating app profile in his head. Finally, curiosity won. "So, when were those photos taken?" Ashley smiled proudly. "Oh, around 2012. I love those pictures. I feel like that's still me, you know?" Chris stared into his cup. "That was 10 years ago." She continued talking about her job, her hobbies, her cat, but Chris was mentally calculating how many historical events have happened since her photos were taken. When the check came, Ashley leaned forward and said, "So, second date?" Chris panicked and blurted, "I'm actually moving." She blinked. "Moving where?" Away." He paid. He wished her well and walked out, immediately deleting the app. To this day, his friends called it the Benjamin Button date. Whatever. I'm not too sure what that means, to be honest with you, but I'm sure people out there will let me know what that means.
The Benjamin Button date.
It's okay if I start? Because
Yeah,
I'm
sure,
really
sure.
hopping on this one. So I have witnessed this personally in my post-dating life at least 3 times. Maybe more. One of them was really like 10 years. And they kind of said something like, "Oh, I just the way I like in that picture. I don't think I changed much." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you did." So, I want to pass over to you in a second, Shiraka. I want to hear what you have to say. But people, put in some recent photos. It's great you look great 10 years ago. I get it. Maybe put it at the last picture and say, hey, this is from some years past. But it's not cool to do that. Put something recent, like within 2 years, you know. Shrek, what's your whole thing on this?
Yes, me doing it as a woman, perspective. You know, if they women want to look glamorous, right? In 10 years, it's like, sometimes, of course, they gain weight. They're not confident about themselves. So they were really confident and they looked really good back 10 years ago. So it's not good for them to do that. I definitely agree. But I'm just trying to get the woman how they feel about themselves. They feel happy. They feel positive. They're younger, right? Younger is always great.
So
But
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I definitely had that. And it goes both ways, right? The men have these muscle pictures, and next you see them, they have like a beer belly.
They got beer
Like,
belly.
hey, I don't see that beer belly in the photos that you sent me, so it's definitely could go both ways. But I'm just saying it from a woman, we definitely feel young, we look beautiful, and those are happy moments.
Oh my God. And the end of his date, it was so funny because he was like,
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
exactly. He was like out of there, huh?
Exactly. So I know she probably called and he probably like.
Well, I think she kind of got the hint. I was surprised she asked for a second date. I'm going to be honest with you because in my experience, I think in your experience, usually you may talk about it like, I'd like to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
But to be that blunt and say, oh, a second date, usually want, to be on a date and put anybody, male or female, doesn't matter, to put them on guard, like the date's not even over and you're committing to a second date. Sometimes people like to just think about it, take a breath. It may seem a little kind of quick. So
yeah, but you also got to think they were talking prior before then the date, right? They said 2
that's true, 2 weeks.
So when you talking and that's women's mind, oh, he called me back, this is the first week and we had more than one conversation. So they, in their mind, they thinking, okay, most likely after we see each other, have some drinks, there probably will be a second date.
I just think it's...
Some profiles are not even real people.
Exactly. So, you got to take it with a grain. But I agree, Shrek. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that was a good one. What do you think about that one?
Yeah. Have you been catfished? And if you have, and we'll get to this later, but you got to go to our website, Kiss the Frogs, and submit your story so we can read it right here on our show.
Sure, exactly.
So
those would be interesting.
You ready for the second story?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Story number 2 is called The Voice Didn't Match the Face. Oh, boy. All right. Strap on your seatbelts here. Megan matched with Jake on a dating app and immediately liked him because his pictures screamed outdoorsy but emotionally unavailable in a hot way. See, you can deal with guys too. Mm-hmm. Beard. Flannel hiking photos, very on brand. They texted nonstop for days. Jake was funny, charming, and very confident. He even sent voice messages, which Megan loved, except something was off. Jake's voice messages sounded different, softer, higher, almost theatrical. Megan shrugged it off. People sound different on recordings, right? They decided to meet at a busy taco bar downtown. Megan arrived first and waited. A man walked in, looked around nervously, then walked straight up to her. Megan? She politely said, yes. The man stood awkwardly. I'm Jake. He looked nothing like the photos. Same general idea, maybe, but this version of Jake was shorter, older, and clearly had used some very creative camera angles. And the beard, gone. The flannel replaced by a graphic tee that said, live, laugh, lasagna. But the worst part, the voice. When he spoke, it was unmistakably not the voice from the messages. Megan blinked. Wait, whose voice was that? Jake sighed like a man who had been caught mid-magic trick. Okay, listen. That was my roommate. Megan's soul briefly left her body. My roommate? Jake nodded seriously. He has a better voice, but the personality, that's all me. Megan stared at him in silence while a server awkwardly stood nearby holding chips. So, he said slowly. Oh, excuse me. She said, so, your roommate has been flirting with me for a week? Kinda, Jake admitted, but I told him what to say. She laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. They sat down out of pure curiosity. The date lasted 20 minutes, during which Jake tried to explain how voices aren't that important and suggested she meet his roommate just to compare. Megan paid for her own tacos, stood up and said, I hope you find someone who's really into surprises. She unmatched him before she even reached the door. Her friends still asked her, so how's Jake's roommate?
That was a cute one.
Oh my goodness. So that one's really original. Like I've heard of catfishing, and this obviously was catfishing, but this was done with a little bit different twist.
Yes.
I'm surprised she wasn't curious to say, you got a picture of the roommate?
Exactly.
But you go first, Shira.
No, that's what I was actually going to say. Like, who is the roommate? Maybe I can date the roommate. So that was definitely interesting. And why did he use why he didn't be honest, like saying, hey, this is my roommate here. And maybe have both of them talk, who knows. But it's not for your roommate, it's for you. So what is going on through Jake's head? Well, Jake's is the roommate, right? Well, Jake is the guy.
Yeah, Jake is the guy. It's
Yeah,
Jake's roommate.
Yeah, they didn't mention
These
the
are
roommate's
not
name.
real names, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. And then for me, it was kind of like, and again, it could be a man or woman, doesn't matter, but it's sad because he's so not confident of himself. He has to create this fantasy person basically to put in front. And he's hoping that the woman who meets him and hopefully sticks with the date will like him. It's almost like bait and switch, and it happens both ways, like I said, men and women, but it's like, just be authentic. When you're starting off with a lie, it kind of, I guess they're really hoping that somebody would be like, yeah, I'm good with this.
But I want to know if she found him attractive, because sometimes women, this is the woman's side, if you look good but like he was short,
No
if he was
beard.
attractive, she would have been like, forget that voice, you still look good.
And he's probably just thinking,
It's just a date. It does not have to end with a picket fence and a freaking dog in your backyard, all right? Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He could just say, hey, listen, it's just a date. Who
That's what he
cares?
said.
Let's hang out. She did last 20 minutes. But she's probably thinking,
What? Well, you can't do this to me.
Exactly.
You know how much I sacrifice?
Well, her time. But, and the thing is, and we're going to talk about this probably on a live stream down the road. We're going to at least get to a certain number of subscribers. Not too much, but we want to at least get some growth before we get a live stream. But one of the live streams going to be is like, and we have this like disagreement as to, there's somebody out there for somebody, meaning for every person, there is definitely somebody out there for someone. So people need to be authentic. There will be people who like you, and why waste the time? For men, it's a little different. I'm going to be honest. Men don't get as many inboxes, likes, pokes, whatever the app is called. They use different things as women. Women can go through a whole bunch. Men don't. So having an app where you're not getting any traction,
That's debatable and subjective right there. Because some men be having a lot
well,
of...
if they're the 1%ers,
click.
the 1%. But really, let's say the majority. Definitely the majority doesn't get as many as women. No, not even close. And when you don't have any action, nothing coming your way, and over week, it can be depressing. So they try to switch up. Be authentic, people. There's somebody out for anybody, even if you have to wait.
Right, because remember, your first impression is important, and people judge people, unfortunately. So if you start out lying, guess what? They're always going to consider you like a liar, right? And always be like, okay, I got to go back and retract and make sure.
Yeah, I'll scoot you over a little bit.
And making sure that everything you said is accurate.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
you don't want that, investigation, everything, all this public stuff. You can always search on the web. So be honest.
And it's creepy. Oh, let's get your final thoughts, and then I'll give my final thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my final thoughts are just always be honest. Just say, hey, I know my voice sounds crappy. And so that brings a lot to the table when you come with honesty. And of course, people think of the confidence as well. So that's what, just be honest.
I agree. And plus, too, for the men out there in this situation, this last situation, it doesn't really vibe safety and security for the woman. When you show up and everything is that different, it's basically they're like going on a blind date. Not only the honesty, like Shrock said, is huge. And the second else, security, like, she don't even know who this person is. It's like a stranger. And that's not really great. Again, be authentic, be yourself. And I think that's just the way it goes. It takes you a while. So be safe out there, everyone. And another quick little tip, and we'll get to submitting your story in a second. A tip is when you do go on these dates, male, female, don't matter. Make sure you let somebody know where you're going, like a close friend. Hey, I'm going on a date. This is where I'm going to be. I should be home by a certain time. If you don't listen, if you don't hear from me, let me know. Have a plan. That's always good to have.
Right. And a lot of people is like, I don't want people to know my business. Because remember, people judge you. So I could see this on both sides. You say tell people, but then other one's like, you going on another date with who? How many dates you been on this week? Like 15 dates with 15 different men, and then women just judge. I don't know about the men.
You could just say I'm going to be out, a meeting with somebody,
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to just be safe.
Because to be honest, I didn't tell people about all of my dates that I've been on because I just didn't want the judgment. So that can go both ways. And I know people feel my way and some people feel his way. It's like, hey, I'm just going out just for, this and that. But
safety, my opinion is safety over comfort. But you got to make your own decision.
Right. And what I do, sometimes I tell other people, like I might tell I told my cousin once, and then I told my friend, and then I told, so at least it's like, okay, maybe they don't know about all the dates, but they, everybody knows I'm going out on a date. So just to be safe too.
And speaking of all that what you're saying too, we want to hear other people's stories.
Yes, we would love to hear your stories. Even if you want the names to be anonymous, that's
we'll keep the
perfectly
names
fine with
anonymous.
us. We might keep that anonymous anyway because we don't want people to be
we'll
coming up to you like, because remember, everything is so judgmental.
Yep. So go to kissthefrogs.com. Up on top here, you can see you have share your story and click on that. And we're not looking for revenge type of stories. We'll probably bypass those. It's not the point of it to use this as leverage to get back at somebody. But we would like to, humorous. We like to do, stories that are kind of fun, a little cringy, a little funny, but they also can serve a purpose in teaching other people and get the word out.
So that's your story. These are not like Ed. I definitely have to co-sign with him on that. We out here just having fun. But we want to learn. My experience, I want you to learn from my experience, and maybe you can avoid those. That's all this is basically having fun and prevention of going out and something happening.
And other people's stories. And we're just sharing. And as you guys, find your love, you could do so with a little bit more understanding, leverage. And some people, unfortunately, they break up and they go back on the dating site or the dating scene. And this is good information if you're in that case. So anyhow, thank you guys so much. Please share. Until next week, we'll have more stories and more things for you coming up on Kiss the Frogs.
Hope to see you next time on Kiss the Frogs.